Somewhere beyond the recesses of time and space, two podcasters are set adrift in a machine, picking up transmissions of movies that are forgotten but not gone.
Oh, man. Another day at the office.
That was not as harrowing as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I was dreading a little bit of like, oh god, I get fatigued with big blockbuster stuff.
The viewing of the movie was not as harrowing as you thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the secret to that is a movie that is under 2 hours long. I was really dreading going into it how much of my life I was going to have to commit to this movie that society at large has given up on. And when I found it was under 2 hours, I honestly felt pretty good.
Likewise, because it was, getting in the way of other things I wanted to watch. But I was excited to watch it for this. But I don't know, a couple other things just came to mind that we didn't touch on. I think about this in the Spider-Man movies a lot.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Vine physics work.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think the Spider-Man movies get away with that because you're so busy wondering, wait, what did he even connect that to? How is he's above all the skyscrapers, what is he swinging from right now? But yeah, you'd think that, the G-forces of going down on that swing, wouldn't that, push all of Tarzan's organs down towards his feet or something?
Well, I mean, I guess I can believe that based on the, kind of superhero nature they're making it out to be. It's more like, how do you swing from a vine onto a moving train? It feels like the base of the vine, where it's attached to the tree, would also have to be moving. There's something about the physics of that. How do you move left to right and front to back simultaneously while keeping up with a speeding train?
Yeah, you can't really steer a vine. I feel like in all the old Tarzan stuff, he's just it's just him, going from point A to point B. He's not trying to hit a really fast moving target while he swings.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Well, and
it's more like, and they do it a little bit in this, where it's like swinging from vine to vine. If you want to bring, Indiana Jones back into it, the way that Mutt and the Monkeys do.
God, don't bring up Mutt and the Monkeys, my least favorite doo-wop band. I feel like, and also, I mean, if you asked anyone on the street, what's a thing that Tarzan does, they would say swings from a vine. There's not that much vine swinging in this movie, and when it happens, right, the first time we see Tarzan swinging from a vine, which theoretically would be a very big and exciting thing if the world was as full of Zaniacs as the producers seem to think it was. That would be a huge moment, and in that moment, instead, Samuel L. Jackson is clutching Tarzan's back like a bush baby, and it's kind of hilarious. I don't know, it just is a little less majestic when he's giving a ride to a terrified American diplomat who's trying to document human rights abuses.
Agreed. And it's one of those moments, like we'd mentioned in the main episode, where there's almost levity to it, because he wraps his arms around his neck and he's like, legs too. Really just driving home the...
Lick my nuts too. I'm sorry, that's just how the jungle works.
Oh my god. Here's another thought I had watching this. I think I'm done with CGI apes. I'm sick of computer animated apes and gorillas.
Well, what do you mean? So, you're never gonna see another movie with a computer animated gorilla in it, or
I don't know. Granted, this came out, a little bit before the wave of stuff, but we've had the Planet of the Apes movies, we've had the Lion King and other Disney, quote unquote live action stuff. We've had, I'm sure, the Doolittle movies, which I haven't seen, but
oh well,
I don't know. There's just
get after it.
And there's a animated chimpanzee in Nope. There, I don't know. I'm just I can see why, if you're gonna animate an animal, do one that a human could do mocap with, but I'm just kind of I'm sick of it. There's nothing compelling about it to me anymore.
You're saying if there's going to be a primate in your movie, go big or go home. You want to look at live gorillas or no gorillas at all? You know.
There's a filmmaker by the name of Ruben Osteen. I might be
He's a
pronouncing
gorilla.
that wrong. He did a film called The Square a couple of years ago, and he's one of these, like, he did Force Majeure, which is
it's
the movie
the
that
avalanche
spawned the meme about the ugly man cry.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did this movie called...
Is The Square a prequel to Cube by any chance?
I wish. I fucking love Cube.
Yeah, Cube rules.
The Square is about, kind of power dynamics and stuff, and there's the centerpiece of it, and it's the poster of the movie, is this guy who is a stunt performer, kind of a performing artist that has these attachments that he holds onto with his fist, and then it extends his arm so that he can kind of walk like a gorilla. And it goes into this whole thing, but he's not dressed like a gorilla in the movie. He's shirtless, and you see the equipment that he's holding onto, but he's performing it as if he's a gorilla. It's a really strange and bizarre and uncomfortable sequence. But the guy playing it is named Terry Notary. He is maybe the second only to Andy Serkis as far as mocap goes.
Yeah,
and
it's tough to be second in the field of motion capture guy who never gets seen on screen like that. It's great that Andy Serkis is getting his due, but then it sucks for all the people who are working just as hard and are not as famous as him, because that is total anonymity.
Well, I mean, Andy Serkis has pursued a career in front of the screen as well, or outside of the dots. Let's call it that
true.
Way.
Yes, he was in Black Panther. I remember. Yes.
Yeah. Whereas Terry Notary is very much his performance in The Square, I think, might be one of his only out of costume roles. But he's maybe even more prolific than Andy Serkis is as far as doing mocap and creating really powerful and iconic performances through motion capture. Most notably, or not notably, one that resonates most with me is he did. He was the inventor of those things those grips that they hold onto so that they can walk on all fours.
Yeah.
And he created those for a movie called Attack the Block.
Oh yeah, Attack the Block. Was he playing one of those alien things? Those alien all fours creatures?
He was the lead stunt person and taught the other people how to do that and created the motion of those aliens.
Oh, that's cool. He taught him how to run on all fours the way Tarzan grew up running on all fours, which is why he has fucked up CGI hands in this movie. A thing we didn't talk about very much.
We did not talk about that very much, or the fact that they integrated, mighty clumsily, in my personal opinion, different ways of him, having these gestures like a gorilla. Like when he climbs up into the tree where Jane's sitting, he pulls himself up with one arm and then touches her hair with two fingers, like a gorilla would.
I mean, I say go all the way. Pull a gnat or some lice out of there and just start eating it, man. That's how you you put all this where you had all the choreographers and all the movement specialists. Skarsgård, come on, just eat some bugs. That's what we're buying tickets for.
I didn't pay $12.50 for nothing.
Yeah, come on. I want to see a muscly ape man eat a bug out of a beautiful lady's hair. That's the movies. That's the power of cinema. You said you had another Tarzan experience. You had some other Zan encounters of the land kind. I don't know if that is a joke, but go for it.
Well, okay, so you in the main episode mentioned the TV series, and it was short-lived, but I was captivated by the syndicated adventure stories. I mean, syndicated television in the mid to late 90s was very much like reading the pulp novels. You had Zorro, you had Briscoe County Jr., so you had your Western, you had Tarzan, you had Hercules and Xena. You had Nash Bridges, you had VIP. Those were well, VIP might have been syndicated, but I think Nash Bridges was primetime broadcast TV. You had relic hunters running around hunting for relics. You had Doctors Quinn medicine women. Well, yeah. I mean, you get the flavors that I'm going for. It was just like
Yes.
there was a, I don't know. I found that to be pretty fun and exciting. Zorro was more of my go-to, but it was always a block of Zorro and Tarzan when Tarzan was on.
You get kind of your double dose of pulp heroes.
Yeah. However, the more impactful one is the Disney's Tarzan. And we didn't talk too much about this in the main episode, but
yeah, because it's because also we went so hard on how Tarzan is irredeemably racist and bad, but then I look back at Disney's Tarzan and I remember being like, yeah, it was okay, it was a cute movie. I don't know, I'm not offended by that. Somehow it's different as a cartoon.
yeah, yes, it's true. I also have a hard time talking about it because I have a little bit of PTSD with that movie.
You have PTSD from a lot of things, and that's not me being judgmental. That's just me observing something.
Are you saying I should get back into therapy?
I would never suggest that. That's completely your choice. I'm just saying there's well, I guess it wasn't PTSD with you making eye contact with Nathan Fillion's The Rookie billboard. That was just car sickness. Maybe I'm getting your motion sickness confused with PTSD. Maybe I don't know what PTSD is.
Listen, I suffer from a lot of things. Okay, well, this one I truly my skin will crawl if the movie comes on, because I worked at Kmart in the electronics section.
Oh boy.
In 1997 or 1998.
Oh man. Wow.
What that means is
what that means is that there is an age gap between us, which I know about, and always. You had a job, and I was in 4th grade.
Oh my god! The electronics section of Kmart in 1998 looked thus. There was a counter, a glass counter that often had the real early versions of digital cameras that we had to lock up.
Yeah, 'cause they were flying off the shelves. People couldn't get enough of those digital cameras.
I had to really pay attention to shoplifters for Beanie Babies.
Oh man!
Which the toy section was right next to the electronics section,
and the aisles were full of people gathering to gossip about the impeachment proceedings against Bill Clinton, who was president at the time. You're really setting the scene for this setting.
The last thing I was going to say is that I had 1,000 kids a day coming up and asking me if we had Pokemon Yellow in.
Did you?
So,
did you have Pokemon Yellow in?
We rarely ever did. No.
Oh man, so you disappointed children on a daily basis.
I did, setting the scene for the rest of my life. In the back, so that's just the counter. You have a few aisles of stereos and stuff, but the back wall has about 30, not flat screen, regular old bulb televisions.
Oh man,
all connected to a single VCR, in which we play one movie on loop. And that movie, for months and months and months, multiple times a day, was Disney's Tarzan.
Oh no. That's a musical, isn't it, right? There's a couple big song and dance numbers in that.
I wouldn't call it a musical, but there's a song or two in it.
Oh boy. I always worry about the employees at electronics stores or anywhere where there's a thing on a loop forever.
Yeah.
So what was your coping mechanism? How did you deal?
I don't know that I can articulate it. I mean, it wasn't any conscious choice. I think it was just it inherently became white noise because it.
Well, it was Tarzan,
it was
and he does yell a lot, so.
I mean, it was like the information was no longer useful to my brain, so I could have been staring at the screens and seeing nothing anymore. That's entirely plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, I conservatively have seen that film 100 times or more.
Hey, so have you seen Disney's Tarzan more than you've seen any other movie? Yes. Yeah, sounds
but
like a yes.
I'm hesitant to say that because I have never, outside of the once or twice when I first pressed play that fateful day, when
Never forget your first
new to
time.
me, absorbing things for the first time. Yeah, I kind of watch it. Every other time, I wasn't actively watching it, so because of that, I don't want to say that it's the film I've seen the most, but I think on a technicality, yes, it is.
It was the movie because you weren't really seeing it at some point. The movie was happening.
It was seeing me at a certain point.
The movie was flowing around you like Samuel L. Jackson standing in the midst of a field of charging bulls. It was not affecting you. It was not touching you in any way. I mean, I
can't hear the Phil Collins theme song for that film without going into a rage. It's one of the 5 songs in my life that I'm like, if that song comes on, I will flip a table over.
I can feel it, Tarzan in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. Did you ever try to break the VCR or something to end the torment?
No, but I will tell you this. I had one other VHS that I could put in there, but I quickly realized the problem that this was going to have. And the other movie that I had the choice of being able to put it in was The Iron Giant.
Oh, but you didn't want to ruin a good movie.
Nope. I
Smart.
saw that, and I'm like, I love this movie. I don't want to... I don't want to ruin this. So I never played that movie.
So you're like what, 15, 16 years old at this point?
17, I think, yeah.
Okay, that's a real wise decision for a teenager. I think that a lot of teenagers be like, oh yeah, I like this movie, may as well just watch this movie I like all the time, it'll be great. I don't know what voice I'm doing.
But exactly what I sounded like as a 17-year-old.
You were a cool dude. You were always wearing a leather jacket and doing thumbs at people. But I think a lot of
jukeboxes.
Look, the same teenage, late teen logic that leads to, yeah, of course my best friend and I are going to move in together. Us being roommates will not change our relationship in any way. It'll be great to live with one of your friends. It will not maybe result in this friendship ending. I feel like that same logic would lead a lot of people to go like, oh, the movie I don't like or the movie I do like, I'm going to watch the movie I do like all the time.
There's a difference, though, because I certainly did, as soon as DVDs were a thing and I was working at Sam Goody, was like, I will immediately buy The Matrix on DVD, and yes, I will watch that every day when I get home from work. And I probably watched that 25 times in the first period of having that on DVD. But there's a difference between I'm going to get home and actively choose to watch this versus I have to put this on while I'm at a place I don't want to be. That, just... I don't know what the difference is, but it makes a remarkable difference.
Well, yeah, and like Mike and Joel, you can't control when the movie begins and ends. And you have got no robot friends to help you keep your sanity. So really, it's the worst of all possible situations. I think probably a big, maybe part of the magic of movies is simply having agency over when they start and stop. Like, if you don't like the movie you're watching, you can... if you're in the theater, you can at least get up and walk out of the theater. If you're at home, you can turn it off. But you did not have that option at Kmart. I also love that. I love that you went from Kmart to Sam Goody. You didn't even stop at Circuit City or Melvin's or something in the middle. Mervin's in the middle.
I didn't. In fact, I got the job at Sam Goody, and I was like, Kmart, I got my dream job. Peace out.
Your dream job where, if I recall correctly, you spent most of your time trying to hide from your manager so you wouldn't be asked to do anything.
Yep. I actually, this must have been a little bit later, as I'm realizing The Iron Giant came out in 1999, and I went from Kmart to Sam Goody, where Korn and Britney Spears were a big thing. So this must have been actually the year 2000.
Wow. Living in the future, guys.
I need a machine for my memory. Yeah. That's for sure.
And again, I'm just saying, so, what, you're 18 then? You're like a high school senior? Lots of seniors
Still
in
17,
high school.
yeah.
Yeah, lots of high school seniors are like, yeah, I'm going to marry this person forever. Yeah, I'll never love anyone more than this. And you're like, I do love the Iron Giant, but I don't want to commit to the Iron Giant every day. Just a lot of wisdom and maturity.
It's weird. I've actually, as you're saying that, realized I've taken that philosophy to most things I love in life, where I'm like, I love this too much to ruin it by watching it too much, or by experiencing it too much.
I get that. I definitely get that. I mean, you also have watched Stop Making Sense like 50 or 60 times, and for a while there were texting me every time. Okay, that's a lifestyle choice. That's a religion.
Exactly. I do have one other weird connection with Tarzan.
Yeah.
So there was a time before iPhones, and I don't want to sound too old-timey about this.
That did not exist. I'm sorry. Fuck you, old man. Right. There have always been iPhones. This is what kids sound like now. This is what you sounded like back then. This is what kids sound like now. Kids started speaking more from the front of their mouth.
Make this specific to my experience.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was astonished by with the iPhone, smartphones in general, was, wait a minute. This phone is a phone, but I can also read books on it?
What's the most boring thing I could do on this new piece of technology?
Well, I was just so like, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. You're telling me I have 25 books that I can just access for free on my phone?
That's almost all the books in the Animorphs series. I'm set for life.
So I was so enamored with this idea that I'm like, I have to see what reading a book on my phone is like. Now, this
Were you pushing glasses up your nose as you said this?
No, I was doing a Chuck Schumer and pulling him down my nose as I stared at my screen.
Okay, I respect that immensely. Chuck Schumer, who still doesn't have an iPhone, by the way.
Okay. This maybe is indicative of the appeal of Tarzan to people like me, where my choices were like, do I want to read Jane Austen? Do I want to read Charlotte Bronte? Do I want to read Tolstoy? Or do I want to read Tarzan? And Tarzan was one of the public, domain options available to me on my iPhone at that time, and I decided I'm going to read Tarzan on my phone. I'm going to see what this is like. And so Tarzan...
Wow, my phone is super racist. I don't know why my phone is making this book this way.
I read Tarzan of the Apes and Return of Tarzan on my phone. Those were my first ever ebooks.
Wow! And how did that how did that land with you? How did that, at the time, were you a total Zan head? At that point were you like, wow, I'm now suddenly seeing the Disney's animated Tarzan I was subjected to in a whole new light?
Well, I was surprised that obviously through the Disney lens, it takes on a much different perspective. It's so much more cutesy and family friendly. I was shocked at the difference between that and the actual book, which it isn't like super graphic, but people die and it has a larger scope and scale to it than I think the Disney's Tarzan does. Mm-hmm. So that took me by surprise. I'm like, wait a minute, he goes to London, he gets civilized? Wait, he has a kid?
Yeah. Well, kind of the same surprise that I had basically with this movie. That like, oh wait, this is okay. I didn't expect Tarzan to meet the Prime Minister in literally his first scene in the movie. I thought that was going to be the last scene of the movie.
How did we not even talk about Jim Broadbent as the Prime Minister, Academy Award winner? He's in 2 scenes.
Yeah, I know. And one of them is no dialogue at all. One of them is just him being concerned by what George Washington Williams is reading to him from the letter.
He must be on the cutting room floor.
I mean, maybe, yeah, there must be a 3.5 hour long Tarzan movie with lots of sex, lots of butts, and lots of British political intrigue swirling around the Prime Minister.
We got to start the campaign on Twitter. Release the butt cut.
Listen, release the butt cut, yes, but not of Tarzan. I mean, I stand by what I said on the main feed. I don't want this movie to be remembered. I'm down for more butts. Look, honestly, I was gonna say this on the episode. I didn't want to start harping on this, but I mean, they shoot that scene where Tarzan and Jane meet for the first time, and they really sort of like. They even sort of cut away from or underplay her reaction, where it's very clear that Tarzan is well, no, it's not. They're hinting that Tarzan is nude, just fully, hanging brain, and she kind of like looks him over and then kind of looks down, and like the sort of slightest hint that she's impressed by his size. Again, I'm just wondering if there's butts on the cutting room floor. Dare I dream that maybe there's dongs on the cutting room floor?
Are you saying there's a deleted or extended sequence in which Tarzan is getting down on all fours and she says, lick the nuts?
Do you want me to lick your nuts or something? And yeah, I don't know that. I don't know if I'm suggesting that much. I'm just suggesting that if there was at least a conversation at some point when they sat down and said, okay, we're going to raise, $180 million, which is like more than the budget of most mid-sized cities in the United States, to make a gritty, realistic Tarzan movie that is hard-hitting. There must have been a talk at some point about, like, so are we going to see Tarzan's dick? Is he going to be full-on nude? Like, are we going to see...
You do, though. You see all of that in even as recent as the 1984 movie. There's definite dong in those movies.
Okay, now, is it Zandong, or is it just like some... Okay, okay, all right. It's not just some...
Well, actually, let me walk this back before I get in trouble, because it is, like, it's growing Tarzan dong.
Hey-o.
First of all, there's like Naked Kid, which is nothing.
Never a fan.
There's like the teenage version of Tarzan. I think Christopher Lambert in one or two scenes, but the thing is, they're getting into such good shape that there should be no modesty.
Yeah.
About Tarzan, like that's the whole point of the character.
Well, unless it's that they've got their body so completely jacked that by comparison their situation looks less impressive, because all the Skarsgård has not skipped leg day, so his thighs are completely jacked and bulbous, but as a result it makes his ween just look like small and shrimpy because he hasn't been lifting anything with that. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that the 80s Tarzan went full frontal male nudity.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just surprised that any Tarzan
because
did full
that
frontal
one was
male
a like capital A art house film. Like that was really going for the awards. That film not only introduced Christopher Lambert, but it was Andie MacDowell's first film.
Oh, okay. Was she Jane?
She was Jane, yes.
Okay, all right. You were making fun of me for black-haired Tarzan when I was talking about Alec Baldwin earlier, but black-haired Jane is totally fine. I think it's even more hilarious now to think that this was that was trying to be the real brooding, serious art house. Drinking tea with your pinky extended Tarzan movie, and it had scenes with him opening his mouth and a canned lion roar coming out.
I know. Not to be this person to quote himself, but I think my Letterboxd review said something like, "How could something so badly made, or how could something so badly made be made so well?" Like it's a incredibly beautiful looking, competent film that is just so miscalculated in every step. Tarzan is cinema's white whale, I guess. It's just the same way that so many directors are obsessed with trying to make a Pinocchio movie, especially as we've seen, last year when there was that glut of 3 different terrible Pinocchios coming out at the same time. That same thing where all these guys want to. Every generation has a filmmaker who's like, I'm the one who's going to crack the code of Tarzan. I'm going to prove how it's not racist. I'm going to prove how it's not a dumb thing. And I'm going to make my dad love me. Which is a tall order for any filmmaker. I think that's that's the main point on that last one there. The 1984 Tarzan was actually directed by Hugh Hudson, who, just to give you a sense of its, pristine, what's the word I'm looking for? Pedigree. Mm-hmm. Is Hugh Hudson directed Chariots of Fire right before Legend of Tarzan. Or, I'm sorry, Greystoke. The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
That's how you know it's an important film when it's
when you have multiple punctuation.
When the title is 3 lines, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, Precious based on the novel Push by Sapphire, the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies.
Whatever that Fiona Apple album title is.
It's a mad world.
That one has a lot of punctuation too.
Exactly. When when the title, the longer the title, that's if you have to stop for like 5 seconds just to figure out what the movie is called, that's how you know it's going to be an important film.
That brings us to the trailer game.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we're playing a game where we are trying to guess moments that are in the movie trailer. Truman and I, neither of us have watched the trailer for this.
Yes.
And we are going to try to pick out moments from watching the film that we think will end up in the trailer.
Sure.
This one, I wanna try to build the trailer, and I also think this is necessary for this specific movie because there aren't a lot of lines that are gonna pop up. There aren't a lot of moments that are really gonna pop as a trailer piece. And so I've got a few things written here, and I want you to just insert things as they flood your mind as to what might be in this trailer. Okay?
Yeah, I'll just remember this movie, this famously memorable movie that I watched a few days ago. I'll just think about things that happened in it. They will spring right to the front of the old noggin.
Okay, I think it's gonna start with and all throughout it's going to have this kind of spiritual tribal music. It's going to kind of be play up a little bit of a mystery vibe to it.
Yeah, kind of a mournful, mysterious. Yeah, like something bad is happening.
There's going to be some voiceover from Samuel L. Jackson or Jane, explaining who Tarzan is without actually saying his name. They're going to the jungles.
They're going to cut clips from when Jane is explaining to Samuel L. Jackson when he's first back in the village and the villagers are singing. They're singing The Legend of Tarzan. And it's going to cut in after they're singing The Legend of Tarzan, where she narrates those flashbacks. Yes.
There's clearly going to be sweeping shots of Africa, the plains and the treetops.
Seems like a safe bet on that one. Yeah, you could probably count on that.
I think this is all going to culminate, so I think this is all going to be charging. We're getting a sense of a man out of his time, out of civilization, but we haven't spoken his name yet. And it's all going to culminate to the shirtless shot of him doing the Troy punch, that Brad Pitt
yes.
punch from Troy when he punches the gorilla when they get in that fight. Then it's going to go to Tarzan.
Okay, now first, that moment, that was actually my pick for the surefire trailer moment, so that's
okay.
So I know it's a safe bet, but I also am playing to win.
Well,
now, do you think?
Yeah, my safe bet is when he it does the kind of nosedive off the cliff into the treetops.
Yeah, that one also that was a runner up for me. Now, also something that I did notice when the title card first came up at the beginning of the movie, The Legend of Tarzan, right down at the bottom right of the end, there is the kind of copyright circle around an R thing down there, even in the title card of the film in the movie. So I'm predicting we're gonna get the copyright, and listen, let me tell you, Edgar Rice Burroughs, his company that he incorporated himself as is still active today, and his descendants are carefully policing and managing the Tarzan license. So I'm sure they stipulated that be on there.
That said, though, the first 10 Tarzan novels are in the public domain at this point.
Much to the Burroughs family's chagrin, I'm sure.
All right, to culminate the trailer game before we watch this trailer, I think there's going to be a quip by Samuel L. Jackson so that we know that this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, although I think it probably does take itself too seriously. My guess is this is right around that time when films were doing alternate takes or fake outs in the trailer that didn't end up in the movie. So I bet there's going to be a looked like you were going to lick his nuts line, but they're going to replace it with something else that's more PG friendly.
Okay. All right. My pick for a line is Christoph Waltz saying, "No matter, he's Tarzan, you're Jane, he'll come for you."
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a great one.
And in that case, I guess it's Mike Myers doing sprockets on SNL. But
don't touch the monkey.
This is the part in Tarzan where we dance. And listen, don't touch the monkey is a good moral from this movie. Honestly, the monkey touches Tarzan and it does not go well.
All right, and then I think it's gonna end with the Legend of Tarzan maybe coming up through the fog, and the title coming up through the fog, and it's gonna end on the Tarzan yell that we hear,
Yes.
in the distance.
At the beginning of the third act, yes, yeah.
Yep.
They really make you. They tease you. They make you wait for it. Okay.
Okay. Should we watch this thing?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. Mist.
Fog.
Hat.
We will never survive. I have done all I can to protect my family.
Oh, they're doing the voiceover from his father.
Yeah.
Flashback.
They're making it like it's a
Buried
Tarzan's
my
dad
wife.
movie.
That dude
Now
looked
I
like
fear
Ewan
for my
McGregor.
child.
What? They're spending so much of the trailer looking at Tarzan's dad getting killed. Like it's a big part of the movie. It's nothing.
It's a big part of the book. Took up all of that amount of space in the actual movie. This whole thing is like a flesh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Half the
This is
trailer
very
is just
misleading.
origin story.
You are Tarzan.
Yeah.
Oh, just right out the gate. You are Tarzan.
You may not like who you were. You may have enemies there. But you need to go home.
Oh,
Yeah,
jumping
you
off
got
a cliff.
Yeah, nailed it.
Your husband's wildness disturbs me.
Oh, that was a good line.
I
Oh,
need
yep.
you to scream for me.
Like a damsel.
He's Tarzan. You're Jane. He'll come for you.
Boom.
Oh,
nailed
good
it.
call.
Yeah, smart. Oh, wow. I think
The bulls? Really?
Wow. Then they don't look good. They look real bad. Wow, you promoted the movie with this. No wonder you lost money. Yep.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
20,000 more on the way. We don't stand a chance.
A normal man.
Have we seen a close-up of anybody's
Impossible to
face
save
except
the woman he loves.
Christoph? There's
My
Margot.
husband is
Christoph,
no
Margot,
more
and Zan. You would not know Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. And this,
Barely Alexander Skarsgård.
This movie is really like, or this trailer is really making it look like there's a lot more animal hangs in this movie. Like
A lot more story.
Well, yeah. Well, it makes this movie look like the movie that it's not, which is the movie that starts out showing how, like, the first scene is Tarzan's family getting shipwrecked, and then Tarzan growing up with the apes, and then him meeting. Like, it makes it look like the conventional thing, not the, oh no, Tarzan's been living in England for like 10 years.
Yeah. That's I mean, I understand that from like a marketing perspective. I would, if I was in that trailer cutting room, I would do the same thing. It's more of a question of like, well, why did you choose to do that as your story structure?
I'm also taken aback by the fact that here on YouTube, the scene of Tarzan going and saving his gorilla brother from the mercenaries or whatever has 4.2 million views. 4.2 million people of this, and this was uploaded in 2020. This was uploaded 4 years after the movie came out. So many people were hungry for a little slice of Tarzan.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe people remember this movie. Write to us. Send us your transmissions. Let us know if we're completely in the wrong here. Do people remember this fondly?
There's 4.2.
Those are two different questions.
Yeah, well, no, I think 4.2 million people are really mad at us for denigrating this awesome gorilla fighting movie called Tarzan.
Or is there a more logical explanation in that there are 5 billion people in this country, therefore there's at least 4 million fathers?
Yeah. Yes, this is all the dads got together. And but the thing is, this is the mistake this movie made. Dads don't want 110 minutes of Tarzan. They want 2 minutes and 46 seconds of Tarzan fighting a gorilla. That's all the dads are really into. Dads don't need much to give you their love, folks. That's the main takeaway from Tarzan. You don't have to make a $180 million gritty Tarzan movie that tarnishes the legend of a real hero and drags up a bunch of tropes no one wanted to think about. You don't need to do that to get your dad to love you. Just make a film of a shirtless guy beating up a gorilla. That's all he wants.
Dump $180 million into a 4-minute YouTube clip.
Think about it, folks. Take out your loans now. Okay, well, I mean, I feel like we can pretty much put a pin in that one, so now I think the only thing left is to fire up the machine and see where we're heading next. Okay, well, now it looks like we're heading to August 24th, 1998.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like we might be standing in line for a long time unless we get chosen to enter 1998.
God, standing in lines, being chosen and selected to enter things, let's just stay in the jungle forever, as far as I'm concerned.
I never thought a year would actually have a velvet rope in front of it.
The most exclusive of all years, 1998.
All right, well, until next week, for Truman Caps, I've been Landon Solano.
And for Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps. Have a great week, everybody.
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpodcast to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit MovieMemoryMachine.com.